Good morning. My incompetence as a teacher is well known, but my incompetence as a father is equally stunning. My wife is a nurse, and on her work days, my son and I are on our own until she gets home at 8 p.m. Those days are nothing more than survival, hoping the house doesn't burn down. What are we having for dinner, Daddy? AJ will say. He knows I can't cook. I literally eat cereal every day for lunch. Your choices are Subway and Subway. I tell him, knowing it's important to give kids choices. We've been visiting Subway quite often all school year long. You're probably wondering where this is going, but I got you. A few weeks into school, I noticed that the sandwich artist would know my order before I said it. It was the same kid each time, and I thought, this is wonderful. There is hope for today's youth. I left Subway each time thinking that kid was the next Einstein. As the school year progressed, we eventually came back to Liberty for hybrid learning. I was excited to see the kids. I'd been having class on Google Meet, but most kids didn't turn their cameras on. So they could see me, but I couldn't see them. On the first day back, I stood at my door, mask on, greeting students as they arrived. What's your name? I'd ask. A weird question, given that we were 2 months into school. It was nice finally putting a face to each name, but then one familiar face came walking towards me. Hi, Mr. Fuhr, I'm Allie. How was your steak and cheese yesterday? Is it weird that I interacted with my student at Subway for 2 months without knowing it was my student? Yeah. But as I said, my incompetence is stunning. And let's face it, this whole school year has been weird. This ceremony is weird. The pandemic itself is weird. It's weird that a year ago I didn't know the word pandemic. Sadly, it's affected some of us very seriously. But I'd like to focus on some of the silly things that made this school year unique. Here are some pandemic-related thoughts, or maybe just some weird stuff about teaching virtually. Number 1, teaching from home is not like teaching at school. Kids judge my background, so sometimes I place books on the shelf behind me. But the truth is, I haven't read any of those books. I'm very illiterate, in fact. My dog, Penny, will often make an appearance during class, and I end up talking to her like a freak. You're such a good girl. You did it. You did it. I will say when she listens to me. Apparently, I did the voice so often the kids started talking to me like I'm Penny. Good job, Mr. Fuhr. You did it. You explained standard deviation. You did it. Number 2, teachers are now asked to record every lesson. I forget to record roughly 99% of the time. When I watch a recording back, I only focus on how bald I am. A few weeks ago, and this is true, one of my students said I have a 5 head, not a 4 head. Quick side question. How many of Mr. Davis's students watch the class recording over and over and over and over and over again just because he's so hot? Number 3. Another weird part of teaching from home is when my wife yells at me during class. I live in fear of that woman. She holds all the power in our relationship. Students have pointed out that they can tell when she walks into the room because I get nervous and act different. It's very similar to when Mr. Gantz observes my class. He holds all the power in our relationship too. Number 4, they say the pandemic has made everyone look 10 years older. So basically that makes Mr. Shermonte look 115. It also makes Mr. Romero look like he's 22. It'll be nice when Mr. Romero finally hits puberty. Number 5. By mid-year, I got so used to virtual learning that I expected some of the same tech options when we came back to school. Like, for example, a mute button. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to mute Mr. Durkin in real life? Funny thing is, or what if we could replace Mr. Fritch's face with a circle with a letter in it? It's nothing. Or how about a volume button for Mrs. Brown? Just, I'm spitballing. Number 6, finally number 6. At this point, I'm more comfortable talking to a letter on a screen than a real person. Right now, when I look out and I see all of your faces, I get nervous. But Mr. Gifhorn told me that when he gets nervous during a speech, he just pictures everyone in their underwear. However, with Mr. Barmanel in the crowd today, So, what can we learn from the pandemic? Well, maybe the lesson is that life is unpredictable. Seize the day, as they say, because who knows when the next life-altering event will happen. I think back to last March when we heard schools would be shutting down for 2 weeks, and I was actually psyched. Thinking it would be a 2-week vacation, and then we'd be back to normal, but how ridiculous does that sound now? It's important to plan for the future, but it's also important to enjoy the here and now. So stop thinking about each week and truly focus on the joy of today's graduation. Now think of the pride that your family feels today. Rare is the time that people come together to celebrate your achievement, but today is one of those days. And they aren't here to see me or anyone else. They're here to see you walk this stage. You're now a graduate of the best high school in the county. A graduate of one of the best high schools in America. And that's not an exaggeration. That's how U.S. News and World Report ranked us. You became a graduate in the midst of a pandemic, in the weirdest year of our lives. A year so weird that senior skip day was replaced by every single Wednesday. A year so weird that I talked to my student for 2 months without knowing he was my student. You did the work. You made it happen. You did it. You did it. You really did do it. And congratulations and have a great summer. Thank you.